I will definitely come back. On the 6th of June together with Christ. These were the last words of a woman who turned from an innocent but helpless teenage girl repeatedly raped by her family members into a feared serial killer. Crime is like a butterfly that flies in the darkness of the night, beautiful and seductive, but with wings that carry the shadow of death. Hello, this is the Holmes channel and we are going to accompany you with one of the saddest criminal cases in the world. Eileen Wuornos was an American woman who, after spending her childhood with abuse and abandonment by her parents, decided to take revenge on men as an adult and committed terrible murders that made her the most feared female serial killer in the history of the United States and even the world. Then in 2002, Florida judicial authorities executed the 10th woman since the 1976 murder law change. The woman's name was Eileen Wuornos, a former prostitute who between 1989 and 1990 had seduced and murdered more than 7 men on Florida highways. His life later became the basis of screenplays, plays and several documentaries, the most important of which is the 2003 film, Monster, directed by Patty Jenkins, in which Charlize Theron played the role of Vornos. And because of this, he won many awards, including Oscar and Golden Globe. If you want to know the reason for this big change, be sure to like and subscribe because we need your support. Wuornos' father, a convicted sex offender, was behind these events. He hanged himself in his prison cell when Eileen was 13 years old, but it was too late to save Eileen's life. Eileen's mother was an Irish immigrant who left her daughter after the death of her husband and left her to Eileen's paternal parents. Less than a year after his father committed suicide, Vornos' grandmother died of liver failure. At that time, and according to Eileen herself, several years of harassment, beatings and assaults by her grandfather passed her. When Eileen was 15 years old, she was raped by her grandfather's friend and became pregnant. For this reason, she left school at the same time and gave birth in a house for single mothers. After having a baby, she and her grandfather had a falling out and Vornos was forced to live in the woods around Troy, Mich. Then Eileen left her father's custody and supported herself with prostitution and small thefts. Vornos told conflicting stories about the murders he had committed. Sometimes he claimed that he was a rape victim and in all his murders, he killed his victims in self-defense and to avoid being raped. Sometimes he also claimed that he intended to steal from them and in general, depending on who was talking to him, his account of his murders was completely different. In the previous video, I discussed the murders of Dr. Death. I am posting the link above so that you can access it more easily. Eileen Wuornos went on trial for the murder of Richard Mallory on January 16, 1992, and was sentenced to death 2 weeks later. About a month later, he announced that he would accept 3 more murders and the death penalty was considered for him in all 3 cases. In June 1992, Wuornos was found guilty of the murder of Charles Crosscat, and in November of the same year, he was sentenced to death again. And finally on June 6, 2002, Eileen Wuornos got her wish. She was executed at 9:47 p.m. that same day. Thank you for your cooperation. Discover the facts of crime with Holmesland.